What's happening, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Jester Radio. Got a guest who has been on before. However, she's in a different phase of her life, a different stage, an exciting stage, a scary stage. So, Carla, thank you so much for coming through.
Pleasure. I'm very excited to be here and 10 kilos heavier from when I last saw you.
10 kilos. And how many kilos do you know yet? Like when you do an ultrasound, can it tell you the weight of the baby?
Yes. So my last ultrasound, which was at 20 weeks, he was just under 400 grams, which sounds like nothing because you feel so confused because you feel so huge. And then he's so tiny, if that makes sense. But they break it down for you. They explain that the placenta, water retention, they tell you how much weight you're supposed to put on and everything. But yeah, he's just about 400 grams.
Sure. And it's a
Yep.
he, so you
Yep.
found that out and you didn't want to, make it a surprise or.
So basically we had IVF, so you have the choice. But because it was a different experience for us falling pregnant, we decided to ask the doctor to choose. So then I think he literally does eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and then he just puts whatever embryo in. And then we thought we'd wait, we thought we'd keep it a surprise, but when you're going to your fertility specialist every 2 weeks once you're pregnant, and you know that on his computer he knows, it's impossible not to ask him what it is. So by the 6th week, we were like, oh, just tell us. We don't really care, but we kind of want to know. So
Yes.
we ruined it ourselves, but it's fine.
And have you settled on a name yet?
We have, yes, but our parents know the name, and we are keeping that a surprise. Because I'm Jewish, you can only tell the boy's name on the 8th day that they have been, since they've been born, yes.
Okay. So in vitro fertilization, obviously you had to do it. But do you want to maybe, if you're comfortable, discussing the complications and why you needed it?
Sure. So, I mean, to be honest, they actually didn't find anything necessarily wrong with me or my husband, which was a huge shock. So we tried 6 months naturally, and then they say that you should go see someone after that. Other people decide to carry on trying naturally. And then like I said, they just really weren't finding anything, so they decided to do a conservative route, and we did artificial insemination, which is literally like what you see in the movies. And I went in for, I think, 4 or 5 rounds of that, and it didn't work. So clearly there is something. Most people say it's stress because you put the pressure on yourself. So probably I put too much pressure on myself. We'll never know why that wasn't working either, and naturally. And then we took a break in December and we did IVF, and obviously they warn you that it cannot work, but we had something like an 85% chance that it would work. Okay. And it worked. It was a miracle. I know I was like so sure it almost wasn't going to work because nothing else was working. And then it just worked. So it was like, in hindsight, most people are more patient. They'll wait 2 years trying naturally. But Jason and I have been together since, he was my first boyfriend. I was 14 when we started dating. He was 16. So it's not like we wanted to, wait 2 years and then start the whole process, and then IVF can take a while. So we were just like, stuff it, let's just do this. Yeah.
And so how long did you try before you saw that it just obviously wasn't taking?
It was, so basically in total of trying to fall pregnant was almost a year and a half.
Sorry to interrupt this podcast, but this podcast is sponsored by Nutricon. You can use the code VEGANJESSIE and save 20% off. You can save 20% off on all online orders on the Nutricon website. The link is in the description. Back to the podcast.
Yeah. In total, yeah.
And now, what are the processes of it? Do you get medication to make yourself, ready to have, your egg taken out, or how does it work?
So basically, for the artificial insemination, that's more old school, and you take medication, you take injections. They prep your body. You go for scans basically every 3 days because they literally watch your ovaries swell and count how many eggs you have. And then, this is really funny. Jason goes downstairs into a room, gives a sample, and then they literally come upstairs and a procedure's done in the room. It's literally like the movies when they do it with the turkey baster. So that was pretty easy compared to IVF. It's just that you kind of get emotionally exhausted because you're doing that every single month for nearly 6 months. And then once they do it for 2 weeks, you have to assume you're pregnant. So then when you go for the pregnancy test and it's negative, then you're like soul destroyed. And then you literally start the whole process again. So that was like a little bit heartbreaking for 6 months. But artificial insemination only has a 15% success rate. So we knew that our chances were small, but because we were young and there was nothing wrong with us, we thought, oh, this will work. Obviously, the doctor thought as well. But then with IVF, it's like an 8 to 12 week process, and it's, injections, medication, drips, scan. They literally swell your ovaries up and they take your eggs out in a procedure while you're under anesthetic. That's probably the most painful part. And then they put the sperm and the egg together, create a little embryo. Not all of your embryos survive. It's quite like an interesting process. You realize in this what a miracle it is to fall pregnant naturally. Like, you're just like blown away by the fact that people, like when you hear girls say, oh, I fell pregnant on the pill, or the condom broke, or you just like, your mind is blown. Or people who fall pregnant on the first time they have sex, you're like, oh my God, how did that happen? It is such a miracle, because you realize how complicated it is. And just for example, I had 11 eggs taken out, and out of 11, we only had 3 embryos. So we used 1, and then 2 are in the freezer for the future.
Okay.
So yeah, sounds very complicated. I'm trying to like simplify it and make it quick. Sorry, but yeah.
And if that first egg didn't take,
Yeah.
would you just go to the second one, or is there a time period you have to wait?
No, so so literally, so the lucky thing is when you have frozen embryos, you don't have to go through the whole swelling of your ovaries, that like horrible part, and removing the eggs and all of that. So you would literally now, let's say I have my baby and I'm ready 6 months later to have another child. You go on medication for about 2 weeks, the 2 drips that put all the vitamins in that you need, go in for the procedure and pray that it takes.
Sure.
So now, thank God, I have like 2 more opportunities like easily available.
Yeah.
If they take, yes. So when you hear people say that, like I've done 3 failed rounds of IVF, those embryos are probably all from the same batch. So they've literally, that happens quite quickly, those 3 failed rounds.
Okay, so if it's from the same batch and one fails,
Yeah.
Did they say there's a possibility that because one failed, it's likely that the others will fail?
No, because it's usually got actually nothing to do with the embryo itself. It's your body not taking it.
Okay.
They genetically test the embryo before, which is like mind-blowing. You can obviously choose not to, but they can basically already tell you that you have a healthy baby before. Okay. And it's survival of the fittest. That's how those 3 survive versus the others. And so yeah, it's like a really weird process. And although there's so much science involved, also like the doctor always says he's not God, he's not the person who decides what will happen. And yeah, that's about the story.
And you say that you are now 10 kilograms heavier. Being
Yeah.
someone that's always obviously health conscious and being someone that's always obviously watched what they've eaten, how have you managed, the expectations, or even not even the expectations, but the reality of putting on weight? And, obviously saying, okay, well, I can't eat. I've got a baby that I need to feed as well. But also still trying to look your best and feel your best.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. It sucks. It literally sucks. I went from this lifestyle of going to gym, taking amino energy in the morning, having a shake as a meal, having a coffee as a meal. If I'm really tired, having a sugar-free Red Bull. Do you know what I mean? You kind of like allow yourself to just like, I don't know, like I can't explain. You just like get away with like not treating yourself perfectly. And I'm not saying that all of that stuff's bad. I loved my caffeine, you know what I mean? Like, and I ate, like I told you, a lot. I love protein shakes, which I know is unusual for people. And I also used to love a lot of alternatives like Beyond Meat and all of that. And then suddenly you're like, damn it, can't get away with all of this now. Now I have to start eating more whole food, especially being vegan. Did a lot of research of what I should be eating every day. Had to like literally change everything. And also, I'm not just saying this like as an excuse, but I have never felt hunger like this in my entire, it's a different type of hunger. It's like, I almost go from like, like you're kind of hungry, let's say now, and then you're like, okay, I'll be home in an hour and then I'll get something to eat or whatever, It's like, I'm hungry, I'm going to pass out. Like I go like that, like literally.
I don't have any snacks for you. Did you bring something in case that happens now?
No, I didn't, but usually I have like a banana in my car or something. But I ate before I came, so I should be fine. So, okay, and then the next part is, so I changed my diet to more of like a whole food plant-based diet more than vegan. That's like two different things. And then the next thing is your body changing. You do 100% get girls that just don't gain weight, and that is unbelievable. I'm not sure why. I'm exercising 5 times a week, at least 4 times with a trainer for an hour, and I walk for an hour at least once a week. And so it's not like I'm sitting on my couch doing nothing. And you just gain weight. It's like your body. I said to my mom the other day, I've never eaten healthier, literally ever eaten like cleaner in my entire life. Granted, you have something on the weekend that's bad, like a burger or whatever. And I just feel like anything I eat, my body's like, oh my God, let me hold on to that. Oh my God, let me hold on to that. And I'm like, oh, but I did go to the physio the other day and he said to me, usually the first 6 months is where you gain kind of like your bulk. And then after that, it's like a kilo a month. I'm praying that happens because I'm so short. I'm literally a size 2 shoe. Like This baby has nowhere to go. Like I literally started showing so quickly because like it just had no way to go. I just had a bump straight away. So trying to hide it from people for that first 12 weeks was a little bit hard. And I am struggling with self-image at the moment. It's just, I want to say and inspire people, oh my God, no, I love myself. I love my new curves. But when you've been so fit and healthy and strong your whole life, and then it's just kind of like taken away from you like that, you're like, damn it, this sucks. I'm trying not to stress about it. I'm just embracing it, and I'm like, you know what will be will be. And then I just know that like I have to pull myself back as soon as he's kind of born, if that makes sense.
Well, I think a lot of people, and it's difficult on social media because also a lot of people, and I've seen it, and I've had people on this podcast where they'll try to preach always being happy with your body, always being content with how you look, and no matter what curves you have, no matter what stress you go through your life, like just be happy, do what you want. And like you can't always be like that. It's impossible to constantly love yourself, and especially now, the weight gain is uncontrollable.
Yeah.
It's not like it's because you're making bad decisions that you're putting on weight. It's because you are now growing a human inside of you.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to, just be happy with, oh, I'm putting on 10 kilograms.
Yeah.
It's because I'm growing a baby. It's fine. But also you're still a person, and you're still going through that drastic change that's uncontrollable.
Exactly. I do think, I don't know, I don't want to say that some women lie during their pregnancies, but they definitely make it seem maybe more glamorous than it is. I try not to moan too much, if that makes sense. So sometimes like I really want to put the truth like on Instagram, but I'm like, I don't want to be this ungrateful, like moaning woman. But it's not pleasant. Do you know what I mean? And anyone who's realistic will agree with you who's had a child. They say like, yeah, it really does suck. Like your back is hurting. You can't sleep properly. You feel, the word that I use the most is gross. You just feel gross. It is what it is. Even though like your skin is kind of glowing, and everyone's like, oh, you look so cute. They want to touch your bump. my one friend said to me on the weekend, no matter what anyone says to you when you're pregnant, it doesn't help change your mindset. So someone can say to you, oh my God, you're so big. And then you just like, oh, please don't say that. And then someone will be like, oh my God, why is your tummy so small? And then you're like, why are you saying that? Like anything anyone says to you insults you.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be so sensitive around a pregnant woman. And it just, it is what it is. The only thing that I can say, and I don't want to be like one of those people, but Jason, my husband, has been really nice to me. He knows that like I will literally cry at the drop of a hat, and he's been so nice and put in so much effort. Just be like, you look so pretty today. And even when I know like I've woken up and I literally look like death and I'm growling at him, he's like, oh, you look so pretty. And it does help. So just a warning for your future, that definitely helps. And I feel like my family as well have just been like really like kind and supportive, and just my mom's always like, get over yourself, you're pregnant, just deal with it. You'll lose weight afterwards, but it's hard. The other day I literally stood in front of the mirror and I looked at my leg and I'm like, that's not my leg. That's not what my leg looks like. My legs never looked like that before. It's like the weirdest thing. Everything just changes so much. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm only at 6 months. Imagine by the time I'm 9 months, I don't know. I'm praying that like, I don't land up with 3 chins or something like that. But what will be, will be. And I'm just, I'm not going to obviously start counting calories and, taking like protein shakes 5 times a day like I used to. I just want him to be healthy and big, and then I'll deal with myself afterwards. Yeah.
And you say, you went more plant-based now as
Yeah.
opposed to how you were previously with vegan.
Yeah.
So now what main changes did you make? And also, because I mean, obviously people know, and maybe not know, but people's biggest issue, people that do have an issue with, vegan and plant-based, is maybe like this. Well, obviously you do get a lot of micronutrients, but the micronutrients that you might not get from, plants and stuff that you would get from meat. Like let's say, vitamin B12, or even just calcium from like dairy products, or maybe just iron. What have you, because obviously you do need that as a mother.
Yeah.
So do you take supplements? Do you just make sure that you get X amount of time in the sun, or what have you done to combat and make sure that you get those minerals?
Okay, so basically, I'll start with my vitamins. When you're pregnant, you're supposed to take vitamins immediately. The most common one is Stella Mama that all the gynaes recommend. It's not vegan. There are vegan alternatives, so I take the vegan alternatives. There are so many, and it's really
Sorry to interrupt, but how can vitamins not be vegan?
It's got fish oils in it.
Okay.
Yeah, there could be honey in it as well. There could be vegetarian-based things in it. So it's usually the fish oils. And I know one of the Stella Mamas is a fish oil tablet.
Okay.
It's like 3 tablets. So basically, I just take a prenatal vitamin that is vegan certified, and then as a vegan, I take something called Spartone every day. It's a sachet of liquid iron. Most girls who message me on Instagram to say they have iron issues, doctors give them that, which is, I swear, most girls have iron deficiencies. So since I became pregnant, I started taking 2 sachets a day, which is like, it literally says it on the box. I feel like everyone should be taking an iron supplement anyway. And B12, obviously, I've taken that all like the whole time anyway. Do I need to take another B12 because I'm already on the multivitamin? Not really, but I just do it kind of anyway because like I was a bit paranoid at the beginning. So I do that. Then I did a lot of research on food, vegan food. There are so many vegan pregnant women in the world, so information is so readily available. There's books on it and everything. So basically, all I do is I make sure I have a tablespoon of flax seeds every single day for the aminos. Whereas before I'd just be drinking an amino, which I can't now because it's artificial and blah, 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 sweetener and all that. So I make sure I have flax seeds in my smoothie every morning or sprinkled on my oats every morning. My smoothie, I can't have all the nice vegan protein powders with the sweetener and the flavoring. I literally have that like gross powder that's unflavored, unprocessed. It's literally pea protein. It's like granularly. But you know what? Once you put it in and there's almond milk and a banana and, peanut butter, can't really taste it. Then I basically try have quinoa every single day of my life because I crave it, which is quite weird. I never really ate it before at all when I wasn't pregnant. It has, I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the highest protein contents as a like plant, if that makes sense. I eat quinoa every day and lentils every day. Lentils is really, really important when you're pregnant. And then when mango was in season, also one of the most beneficial fruits when you're pregnant, I ate it every single
And
day.
I think one of the best tasting as well. I love mango.
And now that it's gone, I'm like, oh, because I got like addicted to it. Because I kind of got used to having it every single day as like a little snack. But anyway. And then I eat as many vegetables as possible, basically. I'm not saying like a huge bomb, just saying like I'll make sure I change all the time. Whereas in before, I was a bit lazier. Cucumber, tomato, avo, and onion was like my usual thing. Now I'm making sure I eat spinach. I'm making sure I eat peas. Red peppers are very good for you when you're pregnant. Eat a ton of those. I'll home make my hummus instead of going and buying it. Like there's just little things that I've been doing just to, change my lifestyle. And I make sure I eat nuts every single day. Again, not a whole packet, a handful like I would before. Before I'd count 5 almonds and put it in my shake. Now I'll take like a handful of cashews and, it is what it is. But so as you can hear, everything is more natural. Whereas in before, I'd wake up, I'd have a shake, I'd have another shake, I'd have some tofu for lunch, I'd have a Beyond Patty for dinner. Like that's like, if I have a Beyond Burger, it's a treat. And then I'll make sure probably for the next month or 6 weeks at least, I won't touch anything else that's artificial.
Okay.
Is the best way to put it. I recently came across a brand called, I know this sounds so silly, Falafel King. That's local. I love supporting local businesses as well because Beyond Meat is from America. And they do a gluten-free falafel patty. And there's no soy in it. It's just natural. It's healthy. It's locally made. You're supporting a business here. And that's kind of been my go-to at the moment if I'm craving something along those lines. And I can make it at home and know that it's, safe and
And last time we spoke, I know your husband wasn't vegan. He isn't vegan yet, but I've seen on Instagram that he is trying a lot of these different dishes that you do make him.
He's trying. Okay, so when I say trying, I knew this question was going to come up when I was driving here. I literally knew it. Okay, when I say he's trying, he's had 3 vegan meals.
Okay. Those are just the ones that you put on Instagram.
Yeah, literally. Okay, I've been vegan for 4.5 years. So in 4.5 years, he's had 3 vegan meals. And when I say like meal, he's eaten it and like not added something to it. So usually if I make like a tofu curry, let's say, he'll eat it and then he'll have a shake afterwards or like a tin of tuna because he's like, oh my God, where's the protein? So no. That is not going to happen. I've come to terms with that. I did ask him the other day. I'm like, please, like for health purposes, he's on cholesterol medication. Sorry, I know I'm embarrassing him, but he loves meat so much. So I've said to him, like, I beg of you just to do 1 day a week. That's like the main thing for anyone that I know is never going to be vegan.
Like a meat-free Monday type of thing.
Exactly. So I'm just like begging him. I'm like, please, just 1 day a week is all I'm asking for. So I'm hoping to start that soon with him. Yeah.
And now with the child coming, how will you manage the food that the kid's going to eat?
Okay. So I get asked that all the time. I am not. Okay. So I'm vegan. Yes, 100%. I'm not an extremist, right? Which I think maybe some vegans hate that about me, but that's okay. I don't mind. I'm not an extremist. When I became vegan, for example, I never threw away all my leather stuff. I still use all my stuff. I won't now go like buy something. I won't go buy a fur jacket, God forbid, or anything like that. I don't own fur, just by the way, but I'm just saying. Like these I had from before, I'm not going to throw Timberlands away. I'm going to wear them till they, fall apart because like
Which
I
will be
just
a
think,
long time because they're
yeah,
nice shoes.
exactly. Thank God I got them before. But like I'm just like a realist at the same time, right? So I'm not going to force my child. He can't make the decision for himself and he's a baby. And I know a lot of vegan people are like, how can she not bring her child up vegan? He's not going to be vegan. He's going to eat a lot of vegan meals. I'm going to expose him a lot more than Jason has exposed himself to. So he's going to be okay with eating quinoa and veggies for lunch. He's going to be okay with having just oats for breakfast, for example. Jason has to have oats and egg whites, I'm going to make him... very aware. I want to use the word flexitarian. That's what he's going to be. But if he wants to eat meat and he wants to go to a party and have an ice cream or a piece of cake, he must like live his life. And when he's old enough, he must decide. I'm not going to hide him from the truth. Again, I'm not going to traumatize him and show him videos when he's 3. When he's old enough and he asks me about my lifestyle, I'm obviously going to tell him the truth. I'm interested to see, I do believe it's based on your blood type as well, the foods that you crave. And Jason's the meat eating one and I'm the vegetarian one. So I'm interested to see what blood type he comes out with, because I do think that will direct his taste buds a little bit more. And I'm interested to see, which way he goes. But so I'll speak to you in 18 years and let you know what happens.
Well, I mean, you never know. He could decide at 13 that he wants to be a vegan.
Exactly. A lot of kids are. So many kids are. At our bakery, like we had a lot of parents like flustered, like looking for cakes because their 14-year-old has just gone vegan and they don't know where to get them a birthday cake. And so kids are becoming a lot more aware, that's for sure, yeah.
And now you, with cravings, I
Yeah.
assume is your body craving things that you can allow yourself realistically, or like are you suddenly craving steak? Like, have you had any cravings where you're like, actually no, I can't do that?
Okay, so everyone that knows me knows that I crave ribs. It's the truth. I won't lie about it. Literally, when I woke up from one of my fertility procedures, I was obviously high on meds. I literally said to an entire room of doctors and nurses and my husband, I'm craving ribs. I don't remember it. Obviously, it's something that plays on my mind. I can't help it. I've had vegan ribs. It's not the same. I'm just going to tell the truth. I think about ribs all the time, yes, but I'm not going to cross that bridge.
Yeah.
That's honestly the only thing, because now there's alternatives for everything. So if I feel like ice cream, I really can go get a vegan ice cream. There's just an alternative for everything. So I'm fine. Thank God I'm pregnant in like the peak of vegan food being amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I can't get ribs off my mind. That's the truth of it.
And things that you've had to cut out, having to cut out alcohol, caffeine, all of that. What's been the most difficult for you to cut out?
100% caffeine. Not even a question in my mind. Because I had IVF, you're pregnant from when you're 2.5 weeks pregnant, which is really early to find out. Most people don't know that they're pregnant that early. So in that 2-week waiting period from when you've had the implantation operation and you're waiting to find out if you're pregnant, you kind of go into this, well, I did, this panic state where you're like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I'm not going to exercise. I'm not going to do anything that stresses me out. I'm not going to, do you know what I mean? You're like in this state, like where you have to like just be like relaxed and calm and assume you're pregnant. So I cut out coffee then. And I thought it would be hard. I thought I'd get headaches and stuff. But because I was so focused on keeping like my energy positive about being pregnant, it was fine. And then it kind of hit me like 3 weeks later, and you get tired in the first trimester anyway. And I think because I was having probably 3-4 portions of caffeine a day, it hit me a little bit harder than the average person. I think although most people have that much caffeine
Yeah.
in a day. But now that there's no caffeine in coffee, coffee doesn't taste the same. It does not taste the same. I'm literally miss it so much. And like, most people hit that like 4 o'clock slump. And that was like when I'd get like, an almond cappuccino, or like I told you, on very bad days, a sugar-free Red Bull, or my amino energy before going to gym. Like, I'm just miss that so much, that little kick from caffeine. Like when my mom or my sisters say like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm like, are you kidding? I'm like, go have coffee or something. Like, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because I miss it. That is it. That is the only thing. I'm not a drinker. Alcohol means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Literally, caffeine was my life. Yeah.
And now with your training, you say you got a trainer. You're
Yes.
still training 5 times a week.
Yeah.
How has your training changed? Has the frequency been reduced? Has the intensity been reduced?
So basically, because I fell pregnant in the middle of COVID, and it was like the beginning of the rise of the third wave, I stopped going to gym. And then I realized, okay, so I didn't exercise for the first, I think, 6 or 8 weeks of being pregnant. Because you have IVF, they ask you not to. You can kind of walk, but the sister I was working with just said to me, rather, please, just like, this wasn't easy where we got, like, just take it easy. And so I didn't exercise. Worst time of my life, because I go a little bit crazy when I don't move. And then I couldn't go back to gym. So then I found an amazing trainer who had experience training pregnant women, Jordan Roke, and
Because his wife, also,
Yes.
I think she's also pregnant now.
she's about to have their second child, a little boy, and she's due like very soon, like a couple of weeks. And then I felt so comfortable because she had high risk pregnancies. So I knew that he knew what he was doing, and he comes to your house. So it literally worked out perfectly. And so you go in from being super, super fit, from me doing like all these switch classes and blah, 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 and getting my heart rate through the roof and like not caring, and then going to 8 weeks of not doing anything. And then, so I'd already like felt really like, gross by the time I started training with him. And then you're kind of starting at square one, and you're pregnant. And you're told you're not supposed to get your heart rate over 140. I was told that by my fertility specialist, and I was told that by my gynae. No exercise over 140. And there's certain exercises you can't do. But Jordan obviously knew that. And so we started very slowly, and now we've built the intensity up. But again, since I hit 5 months, so it's been 3 weeks now, nearly 4 weeks, my heart rate just shoots up. Like, I could be doing something that I literally could have done with like weights, like with 1,000 times more reps, like lunges. Now I'll do 20 lunges and my heart rate hits 140, and I'm like, no, come on. Like, and you can feel it. That's the thing. And then I just have to take like a little bit of a breather, make sure I can talk, and then we start the next set. But I think moving has been like the only thing that's been keeping me sane, because I've been in a semi-lockdown, and my sister was pregnant during the first year of COVID, and she didn't exercise. You know what that like first couple of months of COVID was like? It was like weird. No one knew what was there.
It's actually sad to say the first year of COVID.
Yeah, I know. It's weird, hey?
Yeah.
It's so weird. I mean, her daughter's 7 months old.
Crazy.
And she didn't exercise, and she exercised with her first pregnancy, and she said just like massive difference. She said to me, do not stop moving. I've made Jordan promise me, and he better watch this. I've said to him, no matter what, I'm not stopping exercise. If I say to him, I don't want to do it anymore because I'm tired and I'm sore, he has to pull me out of bed. Like, it is literally the only thing that's helping me. I had severe lower back ache, but like severe, like I've never had backache in my entire life. The exercise is the only thing that's helped me, and he taught me stretches. It's literally cured my backache. I don't get lower backache. I get upper backache now, but that's like a whole different story. But it literally has been the only thing that's helped me. But am I training like a little bit of a granny? Yes.
But you're still training.
But
you-
I'm still
Yeah.
moving. We're still using weights, lunging away, doing our thing. And like, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And I just, yeah, I don't want to stop. Please, God, I don't have to, you know. And my pregnancy just stays uncomplicated and easy. And yeah.
And in terms of, you know, what has been what you like, what didn't you expect, you know, in terms of being pregnant, and what was a shock to you, and then maybe it was something that you actually enjoy about being pregnant.
Um, okay, so I guess obviously what was a shock, I think was, I know we spoke about this just now, was like the weight gain and your body change, because I feel like it's like water retention. Does that make sense? So I've never really had like bad water
I
retention
think your
in my
body's just
life.
under more stress, so maybe
Yes.
more cortisol is being released, and you know,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so that was kind of weird for me. My body changing so quickly as well was a shock for me. Like I literally went from being one of those girls that was kind of like straight with the flat tummy to like hips and a boob. Do you know what I mean? And it happened like that. Like I told you, like the baby just went like that. So I kind of was like, whoa, oh my gosh, like. Okay, so when people say your body changed, they really mean it. Like they're not just saying that. That was a huge shock for me. I think the exhaustion. You think when you fall pregnant, this is what I had in my mind. I'm like, oh, I'll never be one of those like whingy, achy, pregnant woman. Oh, and then you're there and then you're having the symptoms and you're like, oh my God, I'm one of those people. I'm moaning and I'm sore and I'm tired. And I'm like, oh, I've judged those women my whole life. You're like so ashamed at yourself, like, because you've just realized like how much harder it is. I have so much respect for my mom now as well, having 3 kids. So yeah, that was the hardest part for me, that's for sure. I think the nicest part has been how kind people have been. You don't understand it. Sorry, men will never understand it.
Fair enough. We
Yeah.
went.
Until you're pregnant, but how amazing women are. I will put something on Instagram and I'll get like literally 100 responses of like women trying to help, and I'll give you this and come fetch this, and this is the number for this woman, and this is what you must do, and like and it's not coming from a judgmental place. It's literally coming from please learn from my mistake place. And then when I put my IVF story as well on Instagram, which I was really nervous about, that was even more amazing because just a lot of people have reached out to me, and it kills me to know that like sometimes that they still going through what I went through. Like you just get like a knot in your stomach for them. But speaking to someone that has been through it, and women supporting women, it's a great feeling because often that just doesn't happen, especially on social media. People are super mean. So it's been a really nice experience from that perspective. Yeah.
I think that is also the biggest difference between men and women.
Yeah.
Pregnancy is a tough time, and women will stick together.
Yeah.
Whereas a man would be like, bro, you're going through a tough time, just endure it. Like,
Yes.
just you're on your own, just like go through
Yes.
it, don't complain.
Yeah.
Whereas with women, because other women are going to obviously most likely experience the same thing or have already experienced the same thing, they understand the pain, the struggles and everything, and they'll stick together. Whereas men they're more selfish. They'll just be like, oh, well, bro, we have to do
Yeah.
it, you do it, just get it done.
Yes, exactly. Women understand.
That's also why
Yeah.
women are, like, if there has to be one person that's looking after the child, it's going to be better to have the mom.
Yeah.
Because women do understand and have more of a caring nature.
Yeah.
Obviously, not all men are bad and not all
No.
women are great.
Yes, yes,
But,
yes.
you know, naturally, instinctively, women do have that better, more maternal instinct.
Yes, 100%. That's for sure. Like I said, like having a supportive partner, like Shame, sometimes you read these messages on these mom groups that you're on where you just, some people will say like, oh, my husband doesn't care or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like your heart kind of breaks. So having a supportive partner is so important. And I'm not saying in like, again, a kitsch, gross way. I just mean it in a genuine way. And I just think most men are naturally supportive. But women, again, sorry, women are phenomenal. They are just phenomenal. Even when I watch my mother with my two nieces, it's just like that maternal instinct just never goes away, and you pass it on from generation to generation. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And again, before I was pregnant, I was like, oh, I have nieces, they're so cute. You just don't get it until like there's something in you, and then you're like, okay, there's a heart beating inside of me, and you're like, oh, okay, I get all of this stuff now. You kind of get all of it. I can't explain.
Yeah.
It just clicks. Yeah.
And pregnancy brain? Have you experienced any pregnancy brain?
Yeah. I feel like I have pregnancy brain all the time though. Yes, for sure. I'll start talking to Jason and I'm like, oh, I forgot to tell you. And then he's like, yeah. And I'm like, and he's like, no, come on. You can't on. And then I'm like, no, I can't. I'm like, I don't know what I was saying to you. Like that kind of thing, like mid-sentence, and then I can't find my phone all the time. Now, that sounds so stupid. I'm like someone who's like pretty good with my phone. Now I can't find it. Like, I just can't find my phone. I don't know where I put it. And I've left like my dog food boiling on the stove. Jason doesn't know that a lot. Stuff like that. And I said to him the other day, I'm like, I left something on the stove and I'm like, I'm so scared. I'm about to be a parent. Like, I can't be leaving stuff on the stove. That's so dangerous. You know, he's like, it's just pregnancy brain. Just chill. You know, you are forgetful. It just is what it is. I think I'm not blaming it. I don't know. Maybe maybe you are blaming it on the pregnancy.
I think your body's just under a lot more stress. So your brain kind of just prioritizes what it needs to think about.
You're right.
And obviously, you said that, so I kind of assume I know what your answer is going to be, but you said that you wouldn't force veganism or any form of dietary restrictions or dietary choices on your kid. How are you with your dogs? Do you feed your dogs normal dog food?
Yeah, I do. I'm not. I'm on the Vegan Society group on Facebook. I love that group. It's amazing and it's informative. People hate me for saying this. I'm not an extremist. My pets are made to eat meat. I know that for a fact. Their jaws are different to ours. Their teeth, they're everything. And I would just never, ever, 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 ever do that to my dogs. I happily cook animal products for them. It does not gross me out. Because it comes from such a place of love for them, and I just want them to be their healthiest and their happiest, and it doesn't affect me at all. I'll give them vegan treats. There are a lot of vegan dog treats out there, and they love them. It's like peanut butter and carrots and oats and whatever. They love them. Great. But that's kind of where I'll draw the line for vegan food for my dogs.
Yeah. I think as long as the meat-based products that you're giving them are, the animals are treated in a fair, humane-ish way as
100%.
possible.
So like, to be honest with you, most vegans don't believe that that's true. But yes, do I make myself feel better by buying free range? Yes, obviously. It does. It's so contradictory. Trust me, I know it is literally, but my dogs are my life and I'm not feeding them. I think there is vegan like dog food, dog pellets available in the country, but no, that's a big no from me.
Yeah, I think animals way more than humans naturally need meat. If you look at, obviously there's certain animals that are maybe herbivores, but dogs are not herbivores.
No,
dogs, cats, they need meat.
100%. I completely agree with you. I don't think I will ever change my mind on that. Ever. I know that people are going to be cross with me, whatever, but I do think it's an extreme of extremes to make your pets vegan.
Yeah. I think you can care for the environment, you can care for, the way animals are treated, but you can't, because you care so much, take away science, and you can't take away, the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
It's the same as now you have a lion.
Yeah.
Obviously dogs need less, actual meat compared to a lion. But at the end of the day, if you look at a wolf, wolves need meat. Dogs are essentially wolves. So you said you were
Nearly 6
months.
in a week.
So what do you expect? Have you been, obviously you regularly go see the doctor and your gynae and everything. What have you been warned about, like, going forward now? What are you most nervous about? Because obviously the time it's getting closer for the baby to come.
Um, Probably the only thing I'm honestly scared of is the actual C-section. I'm having a C-section. I know most people would think I'd go for natural because I choose more of a natural lifestyle. Not for me. I'm also a really small human being, so nah. I also like planning things and being prepared and knowing that there's less risk involved, which is obviously the choice of a C-section. Again, I'd love to do natural. I just know I have a very low pain threshold. God forbid something happens to me during that. So I'm petrified for the C-section. Obviously I'm scared about, like, how much more painful my back is going to get, those little things. COVID is at the back of your mind constantly. I literally don't go anywhere. I'm always stressed about it. It just is what it is. But the actual pain of the C-section, I'm petrified of. My sister has the pain threshold of a freaking ox. So she's had 2 C-sections. Her first daughter, she tried to have natural birth. So she had a water break, had contractions, and then unfortunately had to have an emergency C-section. So she kind of experienced a bit of childbirth. I was there at the hospital. She was just lying there yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, oh my God, you're having
I hope
contractions.
that happens to me.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? Because she is just so strong. And then there's me, who you prick me with a needle and I pass out. So I am so scared for the pain afterwards, because apparently it is really, really, really sore. Again, people have been messaging me on Instagram, buy the belly binder, what I must do, and all of this stuff. Keep exercising, keep moving, keep stretching, so that I heal so much quicker and bounce back faster from the C-section. But I'm literally petrified. And the only thing that I've got on my mind at the moment is that that he's healthy. That's literally all you pray and fear about constantly, is that you have a healthy child and a healthy birth. Yeah, it's always at the back of your mind. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned COVID, and you haven't had the vaccine, huh?
No.
Okay, and have you done any research in terms of, you obviously you wouldn't get the vaccine until your child is born, maybe, or have you done any research on that?
I actually have done research on it, and I did a post on Instagram the other day, just on my story, asking, who, if any of my pregnant followers have had it or not, and it was basically 50-50. So many have had it. I was completely shocked, and then so many are completely against it, and I'll tell you the main reason why. Honestly, I would go for it, and I've been told by my fertility specialist since I was 6 weeks pregnant to go for it, but it was all too new and too scary. It was literally when it was just rolling out. That was really scary for everyone. And then so the main thing is, when you get COVID, when you're pregnant, they don't apparently worry about your child. It's the mother that's at risk, because your body does everything it can to protect the child, and COVID can't be passed on. But you're the one who lands up, God forbid, losing your life and your child surviving if you get COVID and you land up on a ventilator. That's the fear. So the vaccine is for you. And then, okay, so you have that side of it where you've got the fear, oh my gosh, and then you've got the other side of it where there is no research what will happen to your unborn child with the vaccine in its system. Nothing. People can say, no, it's fine. I've had my baby. I had my vaccine in my 3rd trimester and I've had my baby and it's fine. You don't know that a 2-month-old baby is fine. You don't know that when he goes to school, or God forbid, I pray that none of that happens to anyone. You just don't know. You don't know in 20 years time from now that all those kids, God forbid, something's going to be happening to them. I sound so judgmental, trust me, I'm not. I've thought about this so much. And when I put that post up, my phone didn't stop ringing of people phoning me saying, do it, don't do it, do it, don't do it. So I've kind of just decided to lock down more and be way more careful. I don't go to the shops or anything like that. Then have the vaccine. If I change my mind, which is possible, I would only have the vaccine in the 3rd trimester. because all of the women overseas, like where most of the studies are based, had the vaccine in their third trimester. So I was really scared to have it before. So I haven't hit my third one yet, obviously. That's 28 weeks, I think. That's your third trimester. So that's the only time I would maybe consider it. And if I can, at 28 weeks, go into even a harder lockdown, I'd just rather do that and just keep myself safe and know that I don't have like another thing to worry about, that like the vaccine can do harm to my baby. There was the article I read on this app that I have, What to Expect While You're Expecting It. It said that 3% of babies were born with disabilities that had the mothers that had vaccines in their third trimester. Do they know that it's linked? No. Do you want to take the risk when you have a child inside of you?
No.
Not really.
Yeah.
No. You kind of want to almost take the risk of getting COVID. Saying all of this, my sister had COVID when she was 6 weeks pregnant last year. And she was absolutely fine. It affected her more. Her stress levels affected her more. She was at home in lockdown for 2 weeks away from her daughter and her husband, and she had a slight cough, and that was it. And she was absolutely fine. She had no hiccups whatsoever throughout her pregnancy. So yeah, it's like, do you risk getting COVID knowing that you'd get it mild, or do you have the vaccine? So I'm kind of obviously more towards the vaccine
Yeah,
side.
well, I think the research shows that a lockdown, just locking yourself and taking yourself away from society and the possibility of getting infected is safer than getting the vaccine and possibly affecting your child one day. So I think, it's safer to do that because, what harm can locking yourself away do? Whereas there's no research in terms of what the vaccine possibly could do. It may have no effect, but also locking yourself away will have no effect to your kid.
Exactly.
So it's just the safer route.
100%. And I am not an anti-vaxxer at all. I think the vaccine is the best thing ever. My husband's been vaccinated. All my in-laws, my parents, my sister can register now. They all getting vaccinated. And as soon as I can, the minute I can, I literally will. Like the minute I can. But I'm just like really just on the fence. Like my sister won't even have the vaccine now because she literally just stopped breastfeeding now. Because again, there's no proof of what it can do. Whereas in other moms will say, but I've had it and I'm still breastfeeding and the baby's fine. You don't really know. Yeah, you don't know. So I'm just going to, wait it out. Yeah. And if I have to breastfeed for shorter, so I can get the vaccine sooner, that's fine. Or not breastfeed at all so I can get that, that's fine. I'm like willing to deal with all of that. But yeah.
Well, Carla, thank you so much. And we wish you well in the next 9 months.
Thanks.
Hopefully, the baby comes on time. You don't have too much pain. And just you experience it the same way your sister experienced it, hopefully. And you got a healthy and happy baby.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate it. I know a lot of ladies watching this, maybe some husbands can learn how to be more supportive. Yeah. Whoever does find value in this, I hope they do.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And for you to sit through all that talk about this stuff is like,
well, it's informative to me.
Yes, but it's also like extremely mature of you because like, most men actually don't really care. So well done to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And awesome. If you watched them to this point, well done to you guys as well. Cool. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Let's just take a ride along the bay.